I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does. It's just not the truth.
So, Ben, one of the perks of having a Cineworld Unlimited card is we get prior access to certain films. I believe it's one film a month.
Is it really?
And
I don't feel like I get invited to them very much.
There's people at work who don't get the emails for them, and I'm the only one, so maybe you have to change your settings or something, but I've been to every one, I think, that's been available to me. And this month's one is The Fault in Our Stars, which isn't... I saw it yesterday, and it is on general release until Wednesday in this country.
Oh, really? So, what, the 18th?
Yes. 19th.
19th.
So maybe this review will actually be up before the film comes out, which would make us proper journalists.
Do my best.
So the film's Fault in Our Stars, and it's based on one of these sort of dramatic bestsellers, and it's a classic.
When we were talking the other day, trying to get together, getting together and doing these reviews. You said, if we do it on the Tuesday night, I'll have seen The Fault in Our Stars by then. And I was like, I didn't say anything because I was like, all right, great, another review. But then I was thinking, what the fuck is that? What is it? And then when we sat down at night, I've looked it up to kind of get prepped. And I've seen the trailer for this movie.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it started off, the trailer, at least for me, it started off like, it's, how do you pronounce the name? Shailene?
Yeah, Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley. It's Shailene Woodley. I quite like her. She's a cool little actress. I wonder what this is about. And then it was just kind of like, by the end of it, I was like, oh my God, this movie looks awful. It looks so sugary sweet. Yeah, and I kind of cut you off, but you said it was going to be based on a book of some kind, and I just thought, without knowing that, I thought, looking for the trailer, this is going to be based on one of those fucking coming of age, masturbatory age for like young women, and I just thought it looked like basically something like 50 Shades of Grey that swaps out the S&M for fucking cancer or something.
Well, yeah, maybe. It's certainly, I agree with you on the trailer. The trailer really doesn't convey the tone of the film.
God.
It is not sugary sweet.
Oh, really?
Like, the boy in the film, he's like an over-the-top nice guy. He's good-looking. He's charismatic.
Yes, the trailer promised he would be Prince Charming, and I was like, fuck, people like him don't exist.
Yeah, that's the only sugary sweet bit. She's actually remarkably down to earth, and to be honest, when it's revealed his sort of true self towards the second half of the film, you realise that, damn, he's not what he's cracked up to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of despair and tragedy in this film, which is what is normally lacking from these coming-of-age stories.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to hear it, because it needed a bit of venom in this, a bit of fucking tragedy to keep it from just sliding into the sugar bowl. But I did interrupt you before, but tell us what it's about.
The main character is this girl called Hazel, played by Shailene Woodley, who was, of course, Hottie of the Month and star of Divergent in April.
She's getting about.
Yeah, I really like her. I think she's a great actress, and she really impressed me in this. She plays Hazel, who's got terminal cancer, and she's going. She's not really scared of dying. She's more scared of hurting her parents when she dies, and it's a really interesting emotional state to be in. And her mum sends her to cancer help groups and things so she can make friends, and then she bumps into this other chap who's in remission, and he's cured, and they sort of start a romance, but she is reluctant about 90% of the way through the film because she knows she's going to die soon and she doesn't want to hurt him. Yeah,
the kind of trailer covered that. Yeah, so basically she doesn't want to get involved with somebody while it's going to be short-lived.
Yeah, and she only ever thinks about other people, but she's finally met someone that thinks about her. and that's what the whole thing's about. It's her dealing with the fact that she's going to die and leave this boy behind, and it's pretty grim at times because.
Well, cancer tends to be.
Yeah, honestly, when the film started, before Game of Thrones, it says this television show contains scenes of a sexual nature, graphic violence, and disturbing imagery, and you go, yes.
Yeah. How did you know?
This film starts with continuous terminal illness themes and despair.
Fucking hell. It's like, whoa, champion, just what I wanted to see.
As soon as that flashed up, I was like, fuck's sake. Because two of my friends have read the book, and that's why they're interested in seeing it. I wanted to see it because I like Miss Woodley. And none of us were disappointed.
Woodley, so you don't have to pronounce her first name anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. They, as readers of the book, weren't disappointed, and me as a casual cinema goer wasn't disappointed. In fact, I haven't heard anyone that's seen it that didn't enjoy it in some way.
Well, it's making a fucking ton of money. I think I might, just kind of taking this out of context, but apparently it's made over $120 million in the domestic box office. So I presume this is a big thing in America rather than over here, because I must admit I've never heard of the book.
This came out on the 16th of May in America. Well, sorry, it came out on the 2nd of June general release. So it's actually been out for about 3 weeks, and to make 120 million domestic is pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
What's that animated film that's out this week?
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah, that made 45 million in its first week.
Sometimes films like this, though, kind of strike a chord. Like, this is the type of movies you'll get groups of women going to see together.
Yeah.
And obviously that bolsters up numbers and all the rest of it. But it also has, I think it has quite a wide appeal, It's kind of like a universal theme. It's not really going to isolate anybody other than cynical bastards like me who watched the trailer.
Well, you will love. Willem Dafoe's in this.
I am just having a look down the cast list. Is he a real bastard in it, or is he nice Willem Dafoe?
Fucking bastard, yeah.
Oh, nice. So we've got evil Willem Dafoe, normal Willem Dafoe.
Oh, he's horrible. They go and he's written a book about cancer, and then it's one book he's written, and then he's become a recluse. And Hazel's really inspired by the book, so she tracks him down and she goes to see him, and he's just a dick to her. It's like she's going to die, and she's asking because the book is really ambiguous as to the ending. She wants to know how it ends, and he's just like, the book ends like your life will, and it's just like, you don't know what happens afterwards because teenage cancer sufferers just rely on pity, and I'm not going to give you any. Now get out of my fucking house.
Jesus Christ. Were they even acting, or was that just him?
Well, he was drunk, so it's hard to tell.
That's amazing. Well, I'm just looking down the cast list, actually. I'm surprised to see this lady, Laura Dern, of all people's, in this.
Yeah, so she went straight from her cameo in Jurassic Park 3 to nothing for 15 years, and then she was in this.
Really? That's not true.
I don't know.
No, that's not true. I'm just looking. I didn't even fucking believe you there, because you just don't see her anymore.
No, she was good. It was nice to see an actress that can pull off the mum, but isn't... Because, you always get the same sort of actresses that play mothers in films, and it's always someone like... I can't even remember her name. Like Barbara Streisand or someone. Oh, no, Meryl Streep. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's just it was nice to see another woman playing a mother.
I like Laura Dern.
Yeah, she was good. Because she sort of has to play she has to play both sides of the coin. She has to be supportive, but she also has to be accepting that her daughter's going to die soon.
Yeah, I can imagine it's quite a hard thing to deal with, and I can imagine that would be quite an interesting part to play. Didn't she?
Yeah,
she do a good job.
The sad thing was that she wasn't in it a lot, and a lot of her scenes were more of her doing what any mother would do, and that's oh shit, got to rush into hospital now, and you just have to act worried at that point. There's only one or two scenes where she actually gets to delve into the character, which is a shame. The person who I really liked in this film is Sam Trewell, is that his name?
Sam Trewell, yeah, who I must admit, he's not particularly famous, but he's a fairly main character in True Blood, which is finishing now, I think, actually. But he's one of the main characters in that. He
was really good in this. He plays Hazel's dad.
I thought he did. I was looking at the cast list and I was about to ask you about him, actually.
It's To be honest, it was almost... He looks like he's channeling Brad Pitt in World War Z. But he's more realistic because he's not Brad Pitt.
Or he's not this ridiculous Hollywood star.
Exactly. And there's another character that I really liked who I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays the guy that Hazel falls in love with. He's called Augustus, and his best friend, he has eye cancer.
All right.
And he's about to get his second eye removed, and then over the course of the film, he's like blind. And
is it Isaac?
Yes, it's Isaac.
Played by a young man called Nat Wolff.
Nat Wolff, or as I like to say, we couldn't afford McLovin.
Really?
Because, yeah, he looked like him. He had the same sort of comedic style. He was really upbeat about his cancer, but really pissed off that his girlfriend broke up with him. That's his sort of character in the film. So he's cracking jokes about the fact that he's had both of his eyes removed, and then he's wanting to go and throw eggs at this bitch's car.
I've just seen a picture of him actually from the film. Yeah, he's got sunglasses on. God damn, this doesn't sound like a barrel of laughs actually.
It's really not, and it's like I say, it's really not sugary sweet. And actually, once we're finished, I'll go through everything and I'll give it the review. Once I've finished all that, I'll treat you to a bit of a spoiler just so you can see where the film goes.
All right, okay then. That doesn't say.
So if you want to hang around for that, everyone, be on the edge of your seat. But the acting in this is really second to none that I've seen this year. I think I've ranked it above a lot of the big dramas that were sort of Oscar heavy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I mean, if the plot is a bit basic, it was just the performances alone take this up a couple notches.
Yeah, it seems very much like a film that's more about the people than the story.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. And it's... I don't know, like... It's very hard for someone who doesn't have cancer as a teenager to empathise or sympathise properly, but this film, I'm hoping, goes some way to doing that, because I get the impression that a lot of people think that this is spot on for what it's about.
Oh, really? It's a strange thing, kind of having a family member with cancer. I've got like some experience with that, but I can imagine it's made infinitely more sad by when it affects young people who are far enough into their lives that they're kind of fully developed people and ready to start out in adulthood, but will never get there. Whereas when older people get it, it's kind of like a natural part. Like, it's still very sad, but it's slightly easier to accept. It is a fucking, as you said before, it is a grim fucking subject, really.
And they really don't sugarcoat it. It is as grim as it. They don't hold back on what they show you. So Hazel's character, I can't remember what sort of cancer she has at first. Some sort of leukemia as a child.
Yeah, that's quite a common one in young people, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it spread to her lungs, so that's why she spends the whole film with an oxygen tank on.
Yeah, I noticed that in the trailer.
There's there's a really horrible scene where just after they've been talking to Willem Dafoe's like dick character, and she's like he's just said to her, I'm not giving you any pity. She really wants to do whatever she does next for herself. And they go to Anne Frank's house, because they're in Amsterdam at the time. And she climbs up every flight of stairs in that house herself while carrying her oxygen tank, and she's like dying by the top. And it must be shot in real time. And it's just one of the hardest things I've ever watched.
Oh, really? I'm really happy. It sounds really fucking dodgy, this, but I'm really happy that you're saying that it's not this fucking sugary, ooh, isn't it like one last hurrah of teenage love before the end, and isn't it all sentimental and stuff? And I'm happy that you're saying it's got a really grim edge, and it's got hard bits to watch, and it seems like it from what you're saying, it seems like it deals with the subject with a little, like, the respectable amount of dignity something like this should be dealt with.
And don't get me wrong, it does have the sort of the emotional, whatever you just said, the sort of the last hurrah side. It kind of does that, but even the character herself, because she sort of monologues every now and again, she always talks about how there is always one last good day, but the problem is you don't know when that day is while you're having it. So
you've got to have you've got to make use of every day that comes to you.
Yeah.
Okay then. So what's your rating for this movie then?
Well, I'm the only one that's seen this, so there's very little debate to have, which is unfortunate because I feel that sometimes that helps bring my ratings down. Cause I am generous, I know that, but just based on the discussions I've had with my friends that watched it with me, I think that they'll be happy with me giving this a 5 as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, man, you love those 5s. Captain 5.
I know.
stars.
I'm sorry. I give things 5 or 2. That's what I seem to do.
To be fair, yeah, there's no other stars. There's just 5 or 2. To be fair, this has got I don't normally put much stock in this, but this has got an 8.5 on IMDb, which is a fairly high score. And,
yeah, it is.
These are sometimes not particularly... I never use them as a great meter stick. I sometimes think they're way off or they're stupid. And, people voting ridiculous things. On Metacritic, I believe this is sitting at a 69% at the moment.
Oh, right. That's a bit low. If it was on Metacritic, I would expect it to be on like a 70, 75 maybe. So 69 not too far off, or maybe an 80. But 69 seems a bit low for me.
I mean, that's fair enough if you enjoyed it. That's fair enough. It's in the end of the day, Simon, it's your review. It's your opinion.
Yeah, I will say that most of this 5-star review has come from Shailene herself because she's just phenomenal.
I really like the girl. I think she's one to watch. I just hope she doesn't fall into obscurity like fucking Haley Steinfeld seems to have done.
Yeah, well, I think she's going to be very much in our face since she's we're going to see her in another 3 Divergent films which have already been greenlit.
Yeah, and it's sometimes like these young actresses, particularly young actresses, the clever ones seem to who are generally want to be good actresses seem to play it smart and get into something that's got mass appeal and it's going to be a franchise. Obviously, you've got Jennifer Lawrence doing the Hunger Games, and now you've got how do you pronounce it again?
Shailene, I think. Shailene Woodley.
She's got herself in Divergent. It's a smart move because it keeps you relevant and it makes you a bankable star and allows you a bit more breathing room to do the kind of more acting parts.
She can relax and know that in 5 years' time, she's still going to be big enough to continue acting at this level. But in the meantime, she can still pursue these little indie titles or whatever she wants to do.
Exactly, exactly. And you're seeing more and more young actresses and some actors as well. Although I think actors maybe have a harder job to get into a franchise.
Well, yeah, because all the franchises now, if they're based on a book, they're all the girls in the lead.
A lot of them have, like a lot of these franchises where they appeal to kind of the young adult market. A lot of them are women at the moment. It seems that almost older men, or at least grown men, are kind of carrying that franchises. Like you've got fucking like a lot of superheroes now are kind of in the 40s.
Yeah,
I think.
Whereas all the teen stuff is girls, but yeah.
Is Chris Hemsworth the youngest Avenger?
I want to say yes. Yes.
Probably is.
He must be, yeah. In terms of when would I recommend people go see this, I mean, I saw it for free. If you've got an unlimited card, definitely go see it for free. It's not something you might want to rush out and watch just because of the content. It's like what we said about 12 Years a Slave. It's not an enjoyable evening.
No, it's yeah, I get what you're saying. It's one of these movies that's a good film and it's a powerful film, but it's not something that you necessarily want to watch in the confines of a cinema.
Yeah, precisely. So if you can get there cheap, I would. But this is probably... I think this is going to live on DVD shelves across the land. This is like your classic drama for a Sunday early evening or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those movies that gets shown on Channel 5 for years to come.
Yeah, probably.
On, like, as you say, on a Sunday evening.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And Shailene's, I hope I'm not going to say her name properly again. I'm hoping she gets some sort of recognition awards-wise. I'm not necessarily saying she should win anything, but just a nod because it was brilliant.
All right then, so that is The Fault in Our Stars. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
So, do you want to... Can I just get into some spoilers for you, just so you can see how dark it gets?
Yeah, okay, so the review's over. If you don't want to know the spoiler, because I'm interested, I don't know any shit about this movie, but if you don't want to know any more, fucking turn off now. You're not going to miss anything else other than us bullshit about spoilers, so enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and we'll see you next time. So, that frees us up. There you go.
So Hazel's character, when she was 13, she was about to die. So she used her... I think it's a thing in America. Every cancer kid gets a one wish.
Oh, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah. So she used hers on Disney World because she was 13. But then she lived, and now she wants to do other things. So this other boy she meets, the Augustus, who's in recession, he uses his wish that he never used to take her to Amsterdam.
All right.
And that's where they meet the writer. That's where Willem Dafoe's living.
Yeah.
And they have a nice dinner that Willem Dafoe pays for without realising. Maybe that's why he's pissed off. And that's when she lets herself be with him for the first time. It's like 2/3 into the film. They've just been hanging out. He wants her, but she's like not wanting to get that close. And she finally like lets him in. And then the very next
so to
day,
speak.
Yeah, well, literally.
It's a very serious subject. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was gonna. There's a little joke about he's a 18-year-old pants survivor with one leg, so he's like, I'm definitely in the virgin circle. And then after that night, she draws a circle with him outside. It was taking the piss out of him. But that morning, he goes for a walk with her, and he's like, "Yeah, so my cancer's back, and I'm dying in 2 weeks."
Oh shit.
So she's finally let him, like, she's worried about hurting him, and now he's the one that's going to hurt her, so he goes on to die through the course of the film, and she has to deal with it.
That's quite a good twist.
Yeah, it was. She was so concentrated on lessening her blow to the world. Like, she in the trailer, I think she calls herself a grenade.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, when she goes off, she's just going to leave devastation in the wake. Well, she's now having to do something she never thought she'd have to deal with. And it makes the last third of the film really, really depressing.
Damn, man.
And the scene where she really blew me away was Augustus phoned her and Isaac up and said, "Come to this place now, I need you." And she hurries over there. And they're in a church, and he sits down, and he makes them give their eulogies to his face that they're going to give at his funeral.
Jesus Christ. That's like... I don't even know what to make it. Like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, "God damn, man." Are you kidding us?
I know. But she was epic in that scene. But it was really dark.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like a barrel of laughs. But, that's all right. Not everything has to be.
Yeah. And they sugarcoat nothing in that bit. Like in Dallas Buyers Club, you've got to say that Matthew McConaughey looked fucking ill.
He did. He looked fucking ill.
Whereas Augustus, 8 days before he dies, still looks as good as he did at the start of the film.
Yeah.
So that was a bit... But there is, one scene where he's obviously having chemotherapy, and he goes out at night and then has a breakdown, and this is when he reveals how he's not the charming person that he pretends to be. He's a bit of a dick. And she goes to help him, she lifts up his shirt, and where he's having chemotherapy, he's completely infected, and he's got blood poisoning in every direction from the hole. Oh. And he's sitting coughing up blood in the car. And I was just yeah, very hard to watch again. Thanks for this.
Glad I came.
It certainly wasn't 22 Jump Streets. For its,
Did you have to go back and watch that again?
Laughs per minute.
Just to cheer yourself back up.
Well, luckily it was the Game of Thrones finale just afterwards, so...
See, even that wasn't exactly a barrel of laughs. As much as I love that show, god damn it ended quite grimly.
Well, there you go. So I just thought I'd let you in on what happens. I'd definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, I will try and catch this when I get the chance. Obviously, using my unlimited card. But I'm glad. I'm kind of glad we spoke about it, because I must have, again, like I said at the beginning of the review, I didn't know what the fuck it was going to be until I looked it up, and I realised, oh yeah, I have seen the trailer, and the trailer really did not sell me on it. So it's nice to know that it actually does differ slightly than what I was expecting, and it's actually quite good with it.
We are a hot mess.
Are you angry?
So angry.
You need a break something.
You gave me a forever within the numbered days, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity.
It's a good life, Hazel Grace. Okay?
Okay.